Hello traders, we're on the pound dollar on the daily, and I just really want to share some analysis on what's going on here, because there is a heck of a lot if you're a breakout trader, and there's really just too much to go through unless I do a video. So there's lots and lots of opportunities on this pair if it meets your rules, and the reason why there's lots and lots of opportunity is if I zoom out, just look at the consolidation we're having here and look at the formation of it. So difficult to see on the dailies, but the 240 really clears things up, or not by the end of this video. So where to start? Right, I want to start at this. We have a fairly directional move. We then have this structure. In fact, I'm going to put the structure level in like this, being adhered to, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels of structure here that have been adhered to in the past. What we also have then is trend line structure that has been adhered to once, twice, 3 times. Now this is a triangle, but it's what's called an inverted triangle, so it's the wrong way around. It means that for me, I can't trade the triangle because it's inverted. But it is still tradable a certain way. But that's what we have right now. We've got the market coiling, ready to break out. Typically it breaks out in the direction of the pole. Certainly I know the patterns I trade break out in the direction of the pole, but with this being an inverted triangle, I don't know what the ratio is to which way it will break out, but I do know it will break out because this is a form of breakout pattern. Well, let's just zoom out a little then and take a bigger look at what's going on. And a real key piece of information here is this. Just look at what we've done here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we've been holding that level, so we're consolidating from 2 levels here, the top, the bottom. For me, these are 2 separate patterns, even though they're merging into one. And then what we also have, not too sure if you can take it, but I'll put it in. Potentially, we've got 1, 2, didn't quite get there on that one, 3, 4, 5 like this. And then also if you take this, we have a directional move, and then we have the market going this way. I'm just going to delete this and just draw it in, and the market going this way. So we have 1, 2, 3, certainly 4. So that in itself could turn into a high and tight flag, though I don't think I've ever seen one that big. Breakout patterns typically tend to break out with force and quickly, and so you don't tend to get them on the higher time frames like the daily in 240. But just look at the consolidation here, structured consolidation, and we could certainly break out one way or the other. So if we can then talk about potential entries, well, it's going to be a little bit difficult. For me, this area here that's been tested multiple times, this structure level here, when you tend to get this, you want to look for double tops and double bottoms, and if we go to the 60, we really haven't got any. We had a double bottom down here in this trend line. I almost got an entry on this. I didn't take it in the end. I wasn't completely happy because I thought that we could break to the downside, but we didn't. We actually went back up for another retest. So for me, if I was going to do anything with this, I would look at selling it. But then again, I think there's just as much opportunity here to actually break the structure level and go higher. And if we're reading structure, then look at this. We have held this level 7 times, but this trend line is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker because the bulls are taking over more than the bears. So that's an indication here that we could break higher. However, if we go back to our 240, just to confuse things, we have this major trendline resistance level right here. Now on the 240, this is going to be more powerful for me than the 60-minute one we've just looked at. And so because we're coiling so much and wedging so much, I would expect a pretty big breakout here in one direction or the other. So how do we attack the market? Well, you could, because I believe we have a very good opportunity here to see a strong breakout. We could put a limit order just below the trend line and a limit order just above our trend line here, above the highest point, which would then enter us into the trade. Now, would we have a good reward to risk? Well, to work that out, we would really need to know where targets are going, and for me that's going to be quite difficult because I'm just not too sure. If I looked at structure, I would say this level down here, and I'm just going to make this a different color. Just make this green, dark green. Where have you gone? We'll fatten it up a little bit. No, I don't want that dark green. I want a lighter green. Oh, green yellow, that'll do. Okay, so it has the potential to come down to here, or if price went higher, I would certainly say we have the potential to go up to this level. That one yellow. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative, this leg just here, I would duplicate it and I would look at the market coming down to this level. Is there any structure there? What's this level? Let's have a look. Not really. But if you was to play for this one, you'd be looking at about 111 pips of reward for probably 110 pips of risk. If you did it the other way around, or you played for the extension, should I say, you would be looking at roughly from there to here, 253 for around 110 of risk. Or if we went the other way, you'd be looking at 176 for, I'd have my stop down here, around 190. So certainly lots and lots of opportunity there. Anything on the 60? There's no real entry for me here. If there was a double top or head and shoulders that had formed, or a great big momentum candle that had just violated some form of structure, then I would be interested. But we don't have it right now, so it's a case of just sitting on our hands and waiting and seeing what the market does. And here's the thing, if you miss the move, I do say this quite a lot in my videos, if you miss the entry, should I say, if you miss the entry, it doesn't mean you've missed the move, because this is, whatever's going to happen here, it's highly likely we're going to break out. And when we break out, we tend to see this. We tend to see a big breakout, small pullback, big continuation, small pullback, big continuation, small pullback. And look at the opportunities you've got to get involved in the trade. So if you don't get your exact entry on a trade this size, certainly drop down to the lower time frames, even the 5 range, which is, I absolutely love that because you can see the ebbs and flows clearly, and then look at hopping on that trend and following it down to those potential targets.